Hey, everybody. We're finally back.
Has it been a month?
Got, it has been a month, over a month. I think it's
Ooh.
like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. But,
Well, sometimes if this is our full-time gig, I could understand. Otherwise, you get what you pay for.
life gets in the way sometimes and you can't go back and change it. But today we can because we're going to be in the cave of time.
The Cave of Time. If you didn't like one thing, just do it again. Scott Miller, hello. How you doing,
Hey, Scott.
sir? Good evening, sir or madam, whoever. Scott could be all sorts of things, whoever.
Yes.
What I
And
love out of the gate. First of all, happy pre-Halloween, everybody.
yes,
But also, we're showing both covers
I know.
of the Cave of Time.
So we've got the traditional cover on the right from Paul Granger. That's the one I know Eddie grew up with, I grew up with. And then we've got the revised version that came out, I believe, 91, I think, is when it came out. So early 90s on the other side. So you've got cavemen and a spaceship but you notice, Eddie, our character, guess what he's still oh, his shirt is not tucked in. That
This
is
is the
important.
90s kid, man. He's like, I can't be held back by your 80s standard. I'm not tucking in my shirt. I'm a rebel.
I'm a rebel
But
now.
you can just
But we
tell
still
it's
have
a
a collar.
collared shirt. It's a collar. He's wearing a polo, dude.
He's wearing a polo
These
shirt, the
cavemen are
sleeves
like,
pulled up a little bit.
these
He's got
cavemen
the
are like, unga munga, me not know there's dress code. Like, yeah, that's how it goes. By the way,
yeah.
that
So
anybody who's savvy to the unga munga, shout out in the chat for some Captain Caveman there.
Captain Caveman, I was just gonna say that. Carnivorous plant is back. Wow. Thanks for showing up, guys. I know we've been
Thanks
gone a
for
while.
sticking with us, Carnivorous. It has been a clip, but again, with this is done for. Hey, you know what, kids? Maybe one day this will be how we make our money. If that's the case, you'll get sick of us real quick.
Yeah, exactly. I like how Scott Miller, the interior drawings of the early books were creepy. Yeah, yeah, I guess in some ways the contours of their face were a little weird, but
Depending on the era that Scott harkens from, that was what we got in the 70s. If you look at even like textbooks in
yeah,
in school in the 70s and 80s, if there was any hand drawn illustrations, it was always done by some guy on the staff who was like, I can draw. My mom says I draw real good. And he was the one who was hired to do the illustrations. And so
yeah,
like you're not necessarily wrong. Like they were weird, but also they were done by like the most artistic guy they had on staff.
yeah. Well,
The
remember
interior
in
stuff.
our
Yeah.
Edward Packard interview, go check out the archives, by the way. He said that the illustrator, he's like, I don't know why they were drawing the kid like James Bond all the time. He even
Yeah.
referenced that. He's like, I don't know. He said, I have no control over that. That was
The
completely
covers
Van.
though. The
Yes, the
covers
covers.
were epic. Sure.
They are. I mean, so you got the traditional cover on the original cover on the right side. You've got a dinosaur in a corner. You got some samurai guy. You've got a castle. You're riding a horse. There's a dinosaur, and then there's this big in the background guy with a beard and a serpent hat holding a sword. I don't know who that is. It's probably in the story. We'll find out. So
By the way, I zoomed in on the 1990s cover illustration, and the caveman just to the left of the kid, he's like sprinkling some herbs into a fire. He can't be bothered by what's going on. He's like, I'm making caveman soup, bro. I can't help you're
what do
getting
you?
shot at by aliens. That's not my problem. I got to make stew. I
Oh,
got two jobs,
I see.
unga and
I see.
munga.
Yeah. He's like, I don't care. What do you guys want? Chicken or beef?
He's not even looking up. There's a guy being shot at by aliens, and he's not even looking up. He's like, I got to make soup, dude. Look, this
It's my
kid's
turn to
in white
cook.
sneakers. Yeah, it's literally Ogg's night to cook stew. I'm not playing games here. So I admire his dedication to his craft. He's not playing around.
So I just noticed this, Eddie. So on the revised version, it says 40 thrilling endings, but on the original was it says 39.
They threw in one extra ending. They realized they were like,
What?
we never gave them an actual like. There's not
Oh,
a true ending here.
yeah, that's
Dude's got a
weird.
hard copy of Mystery of Chimney Rock. Those early copies, man,
Oh, they're
I love it.
great.
Well,
They're
if
great.
for anyone who's been gone for a while, including ourselves, this is how the show works. We're not going to do two books tonight. We're going to do one, and we're going to basically dedicate two episodes, right, Lee? This and next one,
Yeah, yeah.
to reading the ever loving heck out of this book. We're going to get as many endings as we can in these next two episodes. So we're
Yes.
not just going to die once. We're going to die many times
Hmm.
and try to squeeze any ending. If we do it right, we might get close to 40. I don't know. Maybe not.
We might get close. We'll just see how many we can get in the next two episodes. But yeah. So this one came out in 1979, and look at the front cover. 19 printings of this book.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yep.
This doesn't
Yep.
include
That
the
number
90s
one.
printing. Wow, that's amazing.
And
Did
for
you
an
ever?
early 80s kid, was there anything more fascinating than dinosaurs, wizards, kings, and dragons? And I mean, it was literally all of the 80s, like a fair crammed into a cover. Like, all right.
Yeah,
And
it
there's
was.
aliens in here too, because, that's
Oh,
coming.
doggone it. Always is. All right. So let's get started. I'll go ahead and start, Eddie, and then you take over after the first decision. And then just like any of the others, though, go ahead and chime in on the chat which decision you want us to go with here first. Okay. All right. You've hiked through Snake Canyon once before while visiting your Uncle Howard at Red Creek Ranch, but you never noticed any cave entrance. It looks like a recent rock slide has uncovered it. Though the late afternoon sun is striking the opening of the cave, the interior remains in total darkness. You step inside a few feet, trying to get an idea of how big it is. As your eyes become used to the dark, you see what looks like a tunnel ahead, dimly lit by some kind of phosphorus materials on the walls. The tunnels are smooth, as if they were shaped by running water. After 20 feet or so, the tunnel curves. You wonder where it leads. You venture in a bit further, but you feel nervous about being alone in such a strange place. You turn and hurry out. A thunderstorm may be coming, judging by the dark how dark it looks outside. Suddenly you realize the sun has long since set, and the landscape is lit only by a pale light of the full moon. You must have fallen asleep and woken up hours later. But then you remember even something even more strange. Just last evening, the moon was only a slim crescent in the sky. You wonder how long you've been in the cave. You're not hungry. You don't feel you've been sleeping. You wonder whether to try to walk back home by moonlight or whether to wait for dawn rather than risk losing your footing on the steep and rocky trail. All right, already a decision. If you decide to start back home,
Right
turn to
out of the
page
gate.
4. I know. If you decide to wait, turn to page 5. So, real simple setup. Do we start back home or do we wait? Let us know in the chat. Man, I love these early books. Quick setup, right out of the gate, decision time. No messing around. Great. And here's our black and white illustration of a
Yeah.
cave opening. Got a lizard on a rock right outside of it. I mean, it's good stuff. Paul Granger never disappoints. Jill says,
No,
wait.
no. And again, these early. Oh, hey, Jill. These early books uh, really dive in on the illustrations too. I know that Scott had initially said they were creepy. I think these guys were bringing in their A game on the beginning, right?
Yeah, I think Paul Granger is phenomenal. He's iconic. Chimney Rock. Who killed Harlow Thrombey? Cave of Time. I mean, all right. So we got two weights, and all wait. Unanimous is unanimous again.
Has that
Who
ever
killed?
happened before in You Choose history?
Yes, we did. I remember because last time we had unanimous. I think we didn't have any unanimous for years, and then all of a sudden this year we've had several episodes where it's been unanimous. So that's you, Eddie. Page 5.
All right, bear with me.
Pretty quick
Mild
one.
technical difficulty. Right out of the gate. Page 5. Wow. Right. You wait until morning. Hold on, kids. Elderly. You wait until morning, but as the rosy wisps of dawn begin to light the eastern sky, a chill and forbidding wind begins to blow. What kind of wind?
Forbidding.
Forbidding. If you seek shelter, turn to page 6. If you brave the freezing wind to see more of the world about you, turn to page 16. So do we seek shelter or brave the freezing wind?
All right. Let us know in the chat. And we get to feel those rosy wisps of dawn. So whatever that is. Wisps.
Those are my favorite wisps.
Yeah. Only the rosy
dawn.
ones.
Exactly.
So that's an album cover from the from your junior high band. The Rosy Wisps.
We are the Rosy Wisps.
Seek shelter is one vote. Another seek shelter. So page 6 so far, but we'll wait another second or two here and get another vote in. Make your vote count. We'll count it twice.
Right. It is election season.
Yes. We're going to stuff the ballot box. Oh, wait, that's when we go through it again.
Stuff the Uchoose ballot box.
That's right.
Page 16.
Scott says. Well, Scott,
he wants
the
we got seek shelter. Page 6. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, page 6. The people have spoken. All right. Here we go. Page 6. You step into a niche in the rocks to escape the merciless blast of wind and lean back against the rock wall. Suddenly, it crumbles under your weight, causing you to fall backwards, down a muddy slope and into a pond. The sun shines brightly down on you as you pick yourself up, dripping wet, and wade to the grassy shore. You look back at the rocks rising out of the pond, but you can't see where you fell through. While you're collecting your senses, a horse comes prancing up, its rider dressed in tin armor, a knight out of the history books, enough to make you laugh. The horseman lifts off his helmet and laughs himself. What place for a bath, he calls out. Well, it was worth it. You're cleaner than a pig. He almost falls off his horse. He is laughing so hard. But climb on and I'll take you back to the castle, he says. We'll see if we can make a human out of you yet. All right, decision again. If you accept the back to the castle, turn to page 22. If you decline the invitation and try to find your way back to the Cave of Time, turn to page 114. So do we get the hop on a ride with the knight, or do we go back to the Cave of Time? Let us know in the chat. I like how we're being mocked already.
I know. He's like, you're cleaner than a pig, and the camera cuts to the pigs, and they're like, what? What did we do? Why are you dragging us into the what?
Yeah. What did we do to you?
Like, oh, I didn't realize we were part of your story there, knight.
Yeah, knight, your noble knight. And look at the knight, man. He's on this horse, and look at the size of that chin.
I mean, I think this harkens back to Scott's initial comment, where it's like he's not wrong. Sometimes there's kind of a creepy factor, especially you look at this and you're like, yeah, I trust this guy.
Yeah. And look at the horse. The horse is like, why am I carrying this guy? He's such a buffoon.
The horse is like, he literally compares everything to pigs.
Yeah.
Well, you're smarter than a pig.
He's that uncle or grandpa that tells the same bad joke over and over again.
Literally.
Yes.
He's like, he's got the same tired routine every time. So we got check out castle, accept ride, Cave of Time.
So
we got one, go back to the Cave of Time. So hop on. We're accepting the ride.
Yeah, 22.
We're disobeying the 80s rule. There's no stranger danger here, kid.
No. Well, he doesn't have a beard, so he's okay.
There's no beard, so he must be trustworthy. The laughing Yeah, exactly.
It is.
Harken back to new listeners. My mom said before, uh, you can't go in that comic shop because there's men with mustaches in there. Always a bad sign.
Bad sign. Yes.
The laughing knight helps you on his horse, and you sit uncomfortably as it canters over the countryside. I'd be uncomfortable too with that guy. After traveling a mile or so, you come to a great stone castle. The horse trots across the drawbridge and into the stable. Jump, the knight calls to you, and you slide off the rear of the horse. The knight escorts you into the grand chamber of the castle. All about you are stewards, attendants, and knights. A few minutes later, you find yourself bowing before the king himself. After hearing your story, the king looks gravely at his advisors and knights and stewards. Does anyone believe this tale? He asks. Everyone cries back, No, your majesty, or certainly not, your majesty. Then tell us the truth, the king roars at you. That king on the next page looks like a tool. um, and we're bowing in our blue jeans.
Yes.
If you insist you are telling the truth, turn to page 36. If you try to make up a plausible story and fib 1980s style, turn to page 37.
Hmm. Interesting. All right.
You're like, I know you think I'm a blue jean wearing witch, but I'm telling the truth.
Doing it.
I sense this going
And
poorly.
we can't trust him just based upon your mom's advice. I mean, that guy has a mustache. So
Under the criteria of Dottie Fossler, he has a mustache. He's not to be trusted.
can't trust him. Yep. All right.
Scott's
So we've
already
got
invoking. Oh, go ahead.
Carnivorous Plant says, make up a story. So, and then Jesse is in the chat, says fib as well. So we got 2 votes for fib.
Uh, big shout out to Jesse for inhabiting the character this weekend. You would have loved it, Lee. He became, for a moment, at the Paranormal Dads live show, he became the one and only Zeke Wheeler. I done seen it.
I done seen it. Oh, wait. Scott voted for Tell the Truth. So we've got 2. Oh, it's tied, Eddie. Oh, man.
We
We're going
have
to have to
make up a
flip.
story, make up a story, insist on truth. We're tied up.
Yes. All right. So let's do, how about heads, truth, tails? We'll make up a fib. All right.
Here we go.
Tails. We're making up a story, Eddie. All right. So that's
We're gonna
page 30.
lie. We're gonna lie like a rug. We're gonna lie to this man.
I done seen it. All right.
I
37, I think it
done
was.
seen the lie. We're gonna lie to him. Page 37.
37. Okay, I did have it right. All right. Just making sure. Okay. I'm sorry to have intruded upon your royal domain, your majesty, you say humbly, trying to think up a good story as fast as you can. It is true, sire. I have been badly mistreated by my wicked stepfather, with whom I live, and I place myself under your wise and just protection. Who is this wicked
Ooh,
stepfather? Where does he live? The king asks. If he is wicked
I'll
enough,
kill him.
you may want him to be one of our knights. That's awesome.
Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
he adds, laughing, as do all the courtiers. He lives beyond that hill, you say, pointing toward the high wooded ridge, and his name is Smith. The king laughs once again. Then your stepfather must be a fish, he says, for beyond yonder hill is Loch Ness. Ah, okay. Page 11.
You're
Off to
like,
the
psych,
tower.
he is a fish.
He is a fish. Yeah, that's true. Off to the tower, the king shouts. 2 knights leap forward, drag you out of the chamber, and with spears at your back, force you to climb 48 stone steps to the tower prison. A tiny cylindrical room with one window, looking out over the moat and pasture land beyond. The only furniture is a bed of straw. You realize you are back in the early days of feudal Europe, where the only laws are the king's whims. You have no idea how long he intends to keep you in the tower. There's one possibility of escape: the water in the moat, about 25 feet, almost directly below your window, is quite deep. If you jump out far enough, you should land in the deep water and not be hurt. All right, here we go. If you jump out the window, turn to page 12. If you don't jump out the window, turn to page 13. So, real easy. Do we jump or don't we jump? Let us
To
know.
jump or not to jump?
Yes. You notice on all these interior illustrations, at least so far, we don't see our face.
No, they're doing a very good job of like not imprinting what this kid looks like. I think they were trying to be conscientious of that. I just think in some stories it gets to the point where you can't really do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you have to give the character a reaction.
He might have a tucked in shirt. I can't really tell either.
His shirt was not tucked in on the on the 90s illustration. Ooh.
Jesse says Van Halen said it best. Jump. And Carnivorous
There you go.
Might as well jump with music emojis with note emojis. There we go.
He was invoking Van Halen. We know he was.
Yes. It's unanimous again. Jump, Eddie. So that's page 12.
Everyone jump out the window. Here we go. Get ready to get our Uchoose coffin picked out here. 12. You jump far out and fall faster and faster. You enter the water feet first and hit bottom, but the soft mud receives you gently. In a few seconds, you reach the surface. You swim to the outer banks of the moat, shaken but unharmed. You scramble up the bank and run for the cover of the forest. You walk along the edge of the forest until well out of sight of the castle, then head across the open countryside. You stop a peasant to ask him where you might stay for the night. Walk up that hill, and you'll see before you the waters of Loch Ness, he says. You'll find a place there. We must be in Scotland then.
Yeah.
They don't ever actually like qualify or clarify.
No.
You follow his directions, and seeing some little houses near the lake, proceed toward them. Darkness is setting in, and you are glad when you meet a fisherman who says he will give you shelter for the night. He and his wife are kindly people. They invite you to stay and earn your keep by helping them fish. If you accept, turn to page 66. If you decide to travel on, I ain't got time to fish, turn to page 78.
Wow. Hey, in true 80s fashion, adults see a kid, they're like, hey, you need to work.
Hey, put that little homeless kid to work. Exactly. That is a reflection of the 1980s sensitivities to children.
Yeah.
Didn't say, hey, man, where's your parents? No. There's some free labor in that there kid. But all the doors are locked.
Loched.
It's true.
Okay. Carnivorous Plant said ramble on. So go move on. Jill said fish with lots of fish emojis.
Listen, Jill brings she is the emoji queen.
Yes. The emojis are strong in this one. Fish. Okay. So we have 2 votes for fish, 1 vote for ramble on. Move on. So
all right, fish it is. There we go. Big fish, Lee.
Take advantage of that free child labor. That's what they see. All right. 66.
Labor laws.
What are those?
That just sounds like getting in the way of you getting some free fish.
Yes.
Oh, we got a vote coming last minute though.
Oh.
Carnivorous and Scott, we got 2 for ramble and 2 for fish.
We're gonna have to vote again or roll again.
Coin, bust out that coin. Let's say tails for fish. Fish tails. I guess I have heads too. And heads for head on down the road.
All right. Here we go. Head.
Ooh.
So we're gonna move on.
All right.
I'm gonna have to go back. Let's see what page was that. I already went to 6. 66 here.
We could have seen as a Loch Ness monster. I feel like we just missed out on that one.
No. Yeah. Oh well. Okay. 78. So page 78. We're efficient. Jesse with the puns. He's the pun king.
Efficient.
Jill's the emoji king or queen, and Jesse is the pun king.
He's the Punisher.
Oh, all right. Let's
Yes.
see. Uh,
Hey, wait, we got a rim shot for that one. Give me a rim shot for that, Lee.
oh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Let's see. I think it's my turn, right? 78.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You'd rather spend the rest of your life searching for an entrance to the cave of time than settle for a placid life of a fishing village. So you bid your new friends farewell and set out over the countryside, headed south for London. Your goal is to find a ship to take you to America, though you know America hasn't been discovered yet, for somehow you must find your way back to Red Creek Canyon and the Cave of Time. A few hours later, as you're walking on the road along the edge of the forest, some burly men ride out from behind a clump of trees. We've got you, one shouts. You're the one who escaped from the tower, aren't you? They force you upon a horse and ride at top speed toward the castle. The penalty for escaping the tower is hanging. One of them tells you, and you'll find out that he is right. The end. So we got hung.
We got done hung, man. We got hanged.
Yikes.
Hot dang, we got hanged.
Oh boy, we're dead already.
We're dead.
Bodies,
Well, we're dead
bodies.
26 minutes in, so it can't be so bad.
That's not too bad. So we want to go back to the first choice and go the other way.
Scott Miller, pretty dark for a kid's book.
Oh yeah,
That's the breaks and them choose your own adventures. You're kinda...
yeah. They were dark, man. They didn't really. You got riddled with bullets. You got drowned. We got hung in this one. I mean, starved to death. I don't know. We did one a while back. We starved to death. So
I got our death counter up.
death count is at one. Okay,
Yeah.
so back at the beginning, page 3. See, we decided to wait, right? That's what we did first last time.
We waited. So are we going to go back to the last decision and change our mind and then kind of go from there?
Oh, you want to go last decision? Okay, okay. Or do you want to go back
No,
to?
do we want to go to the very first decision?
I don't care either way. I guess let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I almost.
Back to the.
Yeah, do we want to go back to the very last decision we made? I feel like that'd almost be easier to kind of, because there's so many branches at this point.
That's true. Let's see. Where was that last decision? Now I'll have to find it. Let's see. Oh, we're gonna go to Loch Ness. We're gonna go fishing. That's right.
Yeah, it was either go fishing or ramble on.
Where was that?
Was it 12?
It was 12. Yeah, there we go. All right. So
in this case, we could accept.
Yeah. So 66.
Yeah.
All right,
So
Eddie.
I'll read that one. We're going to become a fisherman.
Yes.
Let's see here. We'll make this official.
Yes.
I'll take it too, Jesse. You accept the offer to be a free child labor slave, for you can hardly expect a better life at this point. Yeah, you're right, because your other self got hung. And soon you begin to enjoy rowing out in the early morning mist and spreading your nets with the neighboring fishermen. One afternoon, as the people are pulling up their boats for the night, your friend Angus McPhee raises a cry and points at the water. You look out and see the great head and neck of a sea monster, a huge dragon of the lake nearby. Splinters of wood are floating in the water. That was Sutherland's boat, Angus cries. It's been 100 years since the monster has been seen, but now it has returned. That is a monster. Look at that thing's face. Oh,
I know.
Devil himself. The monster swims away and soon is lost from view in the mist. How could the monster be gone for 100 years and then return, you ask, Angus? Somewhere near Beatty's Point, he replies. There is an underwater cave where the monster stays as long as it pleases, because it is a cave of time.
Ah, nice.
Dun, 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 dun. Do we have that in there? I thought we did.
Yes.
A cave of time.
If I can find it. Where did it go?
A cave of time.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
That's good enough.
One more time. A cave of time.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, here
If
we go.
only you could. There it is. If only you could find your way back to the cave of time. But chances seem slim and the risks seem great. If you try, turn to page 70. If you do not try, turn to page 74. In the immortal words of Yoda, there is no try.
Yeah, do or do
There
not.
is do
No try.
or do not. So if you do, turn to page 70. If you do not, turn to page 74.
Scott Miller. Snap into a Slim Jim.
I mean, we
Oh man.
did a bunch.
Let's see.
Good old carnivorous being like,
You can do this.
you got the touch.
Oh yeah, there you go.
If
Jill says
yes,
try.
this
We
is
get-
a try. Ow, my leg.
All right, page 70. All right. So that's a good idea though. Look at that plot point. How the Loch Ness monster got there was through the Cave of Time. That's kind of a cool.
That's really good. That's a good one. I gotta hand that to them.
We gotta hand that off to Edward Packard. All right. So page 70. One day when the sun is bright and the water as warm as it's likely to get, you take an old skiff and row to Beatty's Point. You pull your boat up on the rocky shoal that marks the cave. You dive again and again along the rock wall that drops into the depths until you find the entrance. You swim a few feet inside and find you can get up to the surface inside an enormous cavern, most of it filled by an underground lake. You reach the shore and walk along the lakeside deeper and deeper into the cavern, which is lit by a mysterious blue light. Then ahead you see what you had hoped to find, a tunnel that surely must lead to the Cave of Time. Nearby the sand are 3 eggs as large as footballs. You pick one up and carry it into the tunnel. After walking a while, the air becomes hard to breathe. You begin to feel dizzy and fall unconscious to the ground, still clutching the enormous egg. You're awakened by a fresh breeze blowing toward you. You dizzily get to your feet, pick up the egg, and hurry toward the fresh air. Outdoors again in Snake Canyon, everything is as you remember it, and in a few hours you're walking up to the ranch where your uncle says he's surprised you got back so quickly. When you tell what has happened to you, no one at the ranch believes it, though they are fascinated by the enormous egg. Maybe we'll believe that egg is real and believe your story if it will hatch a monster, your uncle says, or if you break it open and show us what's inside. Oh boy, here we go. If you decide to break the egg open, turn to page 72. If you keep it in your closet until you have a chance to get scientific advice, turn to page 103. So, do we crack the egg or do we hide the egg? Let us know.
Listen, I don't wanna like influence the choices here out in Choice Land. But like, if you have a monsters or a Loch Ness monster egg, don't you leave it alone?
Yeah, you would think so, but they don't believe it, you know.
You want to see this monster?
Jill.
You want to see this? You know, you break the egg.
Yeah.
She's like, break that egg. She got a frying pan open. She's like,
Yes,
listen,
get a
there's only
frying
one way to make an omelet to feed this whole group.
Yeah. Anybody want a Loch Ness omelet?
Oh, there you go.
Keep it in the closet. And then Scott says 103 might be another end. Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
You know,
That's
Scott is invoking that you choose sense that we get.
yes.
So far, we have a split decision between break the egg and keep it. Although
Oh,
breaking it open could prove it too, so there's no wrong way, I guess, to do that one.
well, no, we got 2 votes for keep it in the closet because we got carnivorous plant and Scott.
Oh, 103. All right,
Yeah. So that's you,
here we
Eddie.
go. Let's let that egg simmer a bit. 103. It is kind of a tell how they put a lot of the endings at the very end. 103. The next day, you call the Department of Zoology at a nearby university where you are referred to Dr. Henry Cam, a specialist in large reptiles. Not Cam, Karn. Dr. Karn is skeptical about the egg, but agrees to drive to Red Creek Ranch immediately to see it. By the time he arrives, you are feeling very nervous. Suppose the egg is just made of plastic. Plastic? Bro, you were in like medieval Scotland.
Yeah.
Your concern is heightened by his stern appearance. He shakes hands brusquely with you, nothing like a brusque handshake,
Yes.
you know.
B-R-U-
And your uncle, yeah, with that brusqueness.
Yes.
Oh no, wait, Scott's saying break. I'm reading an ending that he didn't ask for. Oh well.
Oh.
We were split. Oh well.
Oh. Okay. Oh, I see what Scott's. I see.
Uh,
Okay, he's saying that might be okay. All right, no problem.
we'll just read the other one too.
Yeah.
And your uncle immediately asks to see the egg. When you hand it to him, he says nothing while he stares intently at it, holding it up to the light, taps it, and scratches it with a penknife. Then he holds it up to his ear. Finally, he smiles at you and gently puts the egg down. It's quite possible this is the egg of a plesiosaurus, an aquatic dinosaur of the late Jurassic period. It is highly unlikely it will ever hatch. Even so, I would want to keep it in an incubator at the university for at least a year before breaking it open. I'll let you know, of course, if anything develops. A few weeks have passed since then, and whenever the phone rings, you wonder if Dr. Karn is calling. Not really an ending there. That's what I would say that one
Yeah,
is.
that one's not an ending in my opinion. That's like yeah, that's like a
And what
that.
that is true. And what was the breaking it open?
Let's see here. That was back here. A lot of fun endings though. I get eaten. That's great.
Right. There's this illustration.
Oh,
Things are going
nice.
well here.
Oh, 72. So I'll read page 72. Here we go. With your
Perfect.
aunt and uncle and some ranch hands standing by, you very gently tap the egg with an axe, hoping it will split
Yeah.
open without fragmenting. Wait a minute, Uncle Howard cries out. I'm ready to believe you, but I think we better get a naturalist down from the university to see this first. You're relieved that your uncle feels this way because it seems like a terrible responsibility cracking open an egg like that and possibly killing a rare monster before it's born. Uncle Howard calls the naturalist, a famous professor of paleontology, who agrees to come down the following Saturday. You place the egg in a large bowl in the middle of the dining room table. The next
Do
day
not
is
eat
Friday.
labeled
Yeah,
on
do
it.
not. Yeah, and you come in one morning, and one of the farm hands is cracking it open in front of the stove. He's just cooking. Hey, you guys want some omelets?
Ah,
Making omelets this morning.
I'm
No,
cooking.
cooking with Crisco. All right. The next day is Friday, and that evening, the whole family goes out to the movies. When you return, you find the house has been broken into and the egg is missing. Neither you, your aunt and uncle, nor any of the ranch hands, nor the police are ever able to find the egg. Most people you tell your story to just smile and say, sure. But Uncle Howard, even though he is a skeptical man, tells you he knows you were telling the truth. The end. Ooh, interesting. Oh, Mr. BRS is back. All right. We got a full house tonight.
Mr. BRS is here. Oh,
Yeah.
so
So our egg got
both
stolen.
unsatisfied. Someone stole our egg.
Ah,
Why you gotta steal
get
eggs,
to-
man?
I know who exactly can crack this case. Proof Rock and Schmidt. No pun
Proof
intended.
Rockin' Schmidt solved. There it is.
They can crack the case.
Yeah,
of the
they'll scramble right away and crack this case wide open.
If they did find it, they would just drop it probably.
Oh, there they dropped the case. We should probably take it back now since we've done pretty much
Yes.
all the arcs. Let's go back to the very other initial choice.
Okay.
I think we had the question of tell the truth or lie to the king.
Oh yeah. Let's find the king here.
We can take it back to that part.
Let's do that.
So what we're doing with this book with Cave of Time is that we are basically going to go back to the previous choice and just relive that chance to pick a different arc. And we're going to do that for this episode and the next episode, and just kind of really squeeze a lot of the juice out of these books here.
Yes. All right. Page 36 is where we tell the truth. Oh boy.
Tell the truth.
Let's see. That gets
Here
your
we
turn,
go.
Eddie.
36. I think he's going to respond well to this. I think. I know. Look at these great-looking guys who look sensible and they'll listen to us.
Yes.
I know it sounds strange, Your Majesty, you say, but I have no reason to incur your wrath by making up a false story. The king looks around at his courtiers. They all have grave expressions on their faces. That's just how they look, man. They ugly.
Yeah.
As if you have committed some unpardonable sin. I'm sorry to have intruded upon your royal domain, Your Majesty, you say humbly. You are kissing some kingly butt in this, dude.
Oh, wait, we got to go.
You say, oh, sorry, page 11. I'm sorry, that my fault, everybody. Page 11, unpardonable sin.
Oh, so it takes us back.
Off to the tower, the king shouts. So it's a circular.
It is circular.
So I guess we can choose to not jump here.
Not jump. Okay. Here we go.
You want me to keep going with that one since I got?
Yeah, go with that one. Yep.
You decide to wait. So now we're locked in the tower, everybody. We decided to wait. But soon regret it. A guard visits you twice a day and brings you only black bread and water. In a few days, you feel almost too weak to escape, even if you had the chance. But just as you are beginning to despair over ever regaining your freedom, the guard walks in, smiling. The king has ordered you out of here, he says. We have a much more important prisoner, a man who insulted the king's horse. He laughs in your face. You don't know whether he is telling the truth or not, but he holds the door and waves you out. You walk down the long flight of stone steps to the main courtyard, free again, at least for the moment. The drawbridge is down, and there seems to be nothing in the way of your leaving the castle. There is a splendid black horse tied up near you, probably owned by one of the knights. It occurs to you that you could cover a lot of ground on that horse before anyone realizes what happened. If you mount the horse and ride off, turn to page 14. If you ask the king for refuge, turn to page 15. We're gonna steal a horse right out of being in jail.
Yeah, let's just steal a horse. That's great. I like how there's only room for one prisoner in the tower, evidently. So they have to kick us out.
We got a small prison. It's a small tower.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not much room here. We don't have any criminals. So let us know in the chat what we should do. We should grab the horse or ask the king for refuge. See what he says.
We got pretty much, I'm assuming Mr. BRS is saying freedom and ride the horse off.
Yeah.
We almost have a unanimous of riding. Steal the horse.
Take the horse.
Let's do it. Steal the horse.
We let out of prison. Let's go steal something. All right, page 14.
Do it.
That would be
We'll just king nothing.
yes.
I'll steal more
In a
and more.
In a moment, you're across the bridge and galloping over the countryside, feeling a good deal smarter than the king and his knights. When you pass some shepherds and they wave back. You stop to rest at the cottage of a friendly goat herd who feeds you a good dinner. Do not fear the king, he says. He's a fool who sits and drinks grog all day. His only concern is deciding who to put in the tower. His own knights laugh at him, and he's more likely to fall from his throne than from your horse. Be off now and on to merry England, for great things await you there. Godspeed and good fortune. Your energies are renewed, and good food and drink, and your horse too is ready to ride. You thank your host warmly and ride off to new adventures and a new life almost 1,000 years before you were born. The end. We didn't die.
That might be one of the coolest the ends I think I've ever read for this.
I think so. You
ride off to a new adventure and a new life almost 1,000 years before you. That's great.
Yes.
Of course we die at some point, but we die happy.
Yeah.
I guess we can still count that as a die, though.
I like how we're so mature. We had renewed by good food and good drink. We're 9. We're drinking beer.
You're like the toils of my life. These hands, the hell they've seen. I've been in this dungeon we did eat black bread for how long?
Yeah, that's
a long time.
I think several weeks. I can picture us having our drink in front of we're sniffing it. Last year's brew was very good.
You're like, this bread is black, like it's pumpernickel. Quit judging. It's supposed to be. Oh, okay, you're right. My bad.
But yeah, you're right.
My
and
bad.
The picture goes well. So there's a castle in the background, and you're riding this black horse, and we're still wearing our jeans, even though it's been like a month. We still got our shirt on.
We didn't get hung. No. We didn't, we do die. They reference 1,000 years before we were born. We got time to kind of back up a little bit, I think, right?
Yeah. Let's try one more. We got time. Let's see.
I think the one more would take us all the way back to our first choice, really.
It might. Let's see.
Because at this point we kind of redid everything. We did do the if you seek shelter. We could take it back to that one.
Well, okay. So on page 6 is where we get the ride from the night.
Accept the ride.
Yeah. So
we could decline the invitation.
So we'll decline. We'll go to page 114.
There you go.
So
is this me or you then?
It'd be me because I think you read the last one. So
okay.
114. We're gonna be way back at the end. Okay, here we go. Oh man. There's a certain tone in the knight's laughter that does not inspire your trust. So you thank him graciously and tell him you have other business to attend to. Then go to it, the knight replies. Take care to keep your business drier than yourself. He gallops off in a rush.
He's just full of that stuff, isn't he?
I know. Jeez. And look at that haircut and that face. It's like, jeez.
Yeah. If I had that haircut or that face, I wouldn't be so full of jokes there, bud.
Yeah. And still, you notice they don't show our face. It's pretty awesome.
Nope. That's cool. I like it.
It is.
Because then any kid could imprint, or, most kids could imprint on there.
Exactly. They can kind of see themselves in this story. You eager to find the entrance to the cave of time, you climb up behind the rock wall and that slopes into the pond. After searching for an hour, you find a tunnel leading underground. Turn to page 61. Crawling around again. All right. You follow the tunnel downward a short distance. Suddenly you are sliding. Your head strikes something and you're knocked unconscious. Oh, we're concussed. Remember, we always get concussed.
Yeah!
We're concussed again.
It's not a choose your own adventure book if you're not getting concussed.
Yes. And our concussion protocol in the 80s was like, hey, you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, you're fine.
You should take a nap. Okay, I'm getting tired.
I'm getting tired all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, okay.
And he never woke up again.
Exactly. When you wake up,
Put
you
him to
find
work.
yourself. Yeah, exactly. When you wake up, you find yourself by a small lake bordered by woods. A boy about 12 years old is fishing nearby, but there's no one else in sight. You go up and introduce yourself, hoping you can find out what year it is without sounding crazy. Fortunately, the boy is friendly and good natured. He tells you his name is Nick Tyler and that he lives on Birch Street. He works in his father's business making candles and soap. The best in the colonies, he says. All right, here we go. If you tell him you come from a future time, turn to page 104. If you try to make up a believable story, turn to page 106. Wow, so this is just like the other one almost. So do we tell the truth
Yeah.
or do we make up a story?
And we're in a whole different arc now. We are not in jolly old Scotland, I guess.
No.
Now we're in the colonies.
Yes. Now we've traveled again in time already. Yeah. Why another concussion?
I know. Well, it's got to be a two. Our shirt's tucked in. We've been concussed. We've met a grisly demise.
Uh-huh. Man, we're checking all the boxes.
I mean, yeah, it's a class. You know, it's choose your own adventure.
We even had a happy ending.
We've been
already,
put
so-
into, yeah, we've been put to work in illegal child labor.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So carnivorous.
You know, one
plants
vote for
such as
future.
Future. So we got one vote for future. We'll give it a little more time. Oh, Scott says tell the truth. So we're
Ooh,
split.
split.
We need
Split down
somebody
the
to
middle
make-
like we were when, like that egg was when we cracked it open.
Yes. Crack open that egg. All right. Let us know in the chat what we want us to do. I love the weird looking bug on the other side that's like a giant ant with googly eyes or
Yeah, like
weird.
what's that timeline?
So just referring
Like,
back
you
to
know
the
the
beginning,
king?
yeah, scary drawings. This is pretty scary, especially if you're
Yeah.
8 or 9 year old. It's pretty awesome.
Like,
All
can
right.
I go
Well,
fishing still? Is that
yeah, I
a
wanna go
choice?
fishing.
I
But
changed
this-
my mind.
I mean, this story just kind of scratches all the itches when you were 8, 9 years old, walking around, especially if you were, had the ability to walk in the woods near your grandparents' house or something like that. You just loved
Oh yeah. Oh,
going
you have some.
exploring. All right. Tell the truth. So we got 2 tell the truths and 1 tell the truth. Okay, so we're going to tell the truth. Page 104. All right. I think that's you, Eddie, right?
104 is me.
All right.
Let me get there. All right. Old man glasses. When you tell him you come from the 20th century, which by the way, we're in a whole new century, so this is funny.
Yes.
Through the cave of time, Nick smiles. Then you tell him a little about your life in your own time, about cars and planes, telephones and television. This is how we're describing planes, by the way. Look at us. We're morons. What are we doing?
Your arms
That's
straight
what a
out.
plane does. Like, this kid's insane. He listens intently with a big grin on his face, as if you are telling the funniest story ever told. I'm so glad to meet you, Nick says. I've always wanted to know about life in the 20th century. He tries to look serious, but begins to laugh, thinking it's all a joke. Seriously, you say, since you know he will never believe you. I have no home. Do you know of a place where I can stay? I'm sure you can stay at our house, he says warmly. We have such a big family. One more won't matter, but you must be willing to work in the shop with the rest of us. Child labor again!
See, here we go. I knew it.
They were trying to get, like, listen, you 80s kids, you brats, you don't know how good you've got it.
Yes. But again, hey, you're 9. You should have a full-time job.
I'm on my third marriage already at 9 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick's probably like, I'm married already. Got 3 kids of my own.
Nick's like, I've already, exactly. Since you feel you hardly have another choice, you accept his offer and feel grateful when his parents give you a good dinner and a comfortable bed. Good dinner, any dinner right now, bud. You're just,
Yeah. No kidding.
um, Nick tells you with much seriousness that you are living in the year 1718 in Boston, the principal town in the British colony of Massachusetts. You soon become one of the family. They are good people and treat you well, but each day you have to work long hours boiling soap and pouring it into molds, waiting on customers and doing errands for Nick's father, whom you have come to know as Uncle Ted. Your neighbor's Mr. Nelson is a printer. He recently returned from England with a printing press and letter type he bought there. The business interests you, and you consider working as his apprentice. But you do so, but to do so, you would have to sign papers indenturing yourself to work faithfully for him for 6 full years. If you decide to stay at home and continue to work for Uncle Ted, turn to page 107. If you decide to be indentured to be an apprentice in Mr. Nelson's printing business, turn to page 109. This just got serious.
I did. Now, don't you love it? Now we're 8 and 9 year old kid reading this book, and we're making career choices.
Like, listen, you might not, I don't know how long people live in the 1980s, but this is the 1700s, and you're going to be dead when you're 30.
Exactly.
You're almost middle aged.
I
Get
just
to
think
it.
if you go to career day after reading this book and you're a kid, I want to either make soap or run a printing press.
Or you come back, you manage to somehow get back to your original time, and you're like, for career day, I was a fisherman, a prisoner, I got killed one time, and now I am working as a printer. I'm still under contract, by the way, so I got to get back before he knows I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly. What's the penalty for breaching my contract? Oh man, we're having a 9 year old sign a contract. That's crazy.
Well, and he's sitting there like, man, these guys don't know what Xerox is. I've been using this at the library all day.
Yeah, come on. What? Okay.
So we got
So
printer, 3 prints, and 1 let's stay. We're becoming a
okay.
printer.
So we're probably gonna be a printer then. Let's see. That is page 109.
109.
So that's me. You go to work in Mr. Nelson's shop and soon become proficient in the art of printing. But after a while, you become increasingly unhappy. Mr. Nelson refuses to raise your wages or give you a chance to own part of the business. There are no jobs available for you in Boston, so you decide to move to Philadelphia, where you have heard there is a great demand for printing. Happily, Mr. Nelson agrees to release you from your indenture, and by selling almost all your possessions, you're able to raise enough money to engage passage to a coastal schooner or passage on a coastal schooner. After a long and stormy voyage down the coast, you ship docks early on a Sunday morning at the Market Street Wharf in Philadelphia. You're tired and hungry, and you use the last of your money to buy a loaf of bread. Out of curiosity, you follow some well dressed people into the Quaker meeting house. The people seat themselves, but follow customs no one speaks. Following custom, no one speaks. There we go. It's so peaceful, you fall sound asleep. When you awaken, the Quakers welcome you. One family gives you lodging, and fortunately, you're able to get a job with one of the 2 printers in the town. You work hard to improve your skills as a printer. Within a few years, with the help of some friends, you're able to raise enough money to go into business for yourself. Your printing business thrives. After a while, you start your own newspaper. It begins to look as the 18th century is a pretty good time for you to be alive. The end.
I'm gonna count
That's
that. I'm gonna
awesome.
count that as a death too.
You count that as a death? Okay, so we had to fail.
We're not getting out. We're not getting back.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
traded
great.
my life of MTV and Pop Tarts for a life of wooden teeth and American Revolution.
And smallpox.
Yeah. That
Oh
was
man.
funny. In one timeline, we were like, "Man, I got to get back." And this one, we're like, "I guess I live here now."
Yeah, I'm guess I'm just gonna stay here. I'm gonna eat some bread, live with the Quakers, become a printer.
I mean, I got all the oats I could ever want. You
Oh,
know,
that's true. That's true.
I got all the
That's
Quaker
awesome.
oats. Everybody's
Yeah.
wearing wigs. That's cool.
He's like
Whatever.
Mr. Nelson looks like the guy on the Quaker Oats box. Then that'll be
Yeah,
a fun twist in the story. I convinced him to make
exactly.
oats.
You are the Quaker oats guy. Oh God, it's me.
Oh, that would be great. You are the Quaker Oats guy. That would be great.
You
That's
you
awesome.
go into business to start a cereal company.
Ah, yes.
Well, there you go. We got a lot. How many endings tonight was that?
Oh gosh, at least 4 or 5.
I think we
Maybe.
checked off like 5 or 6 endings there.
Well, we died. Yeah, we'll have to calculate that up for next time. But I think we died once,
We
right?
died a really, like for real, we died one time.
Hung. Yeah. Yeah,
Two
we
times
did.
we were basically reserved to live that life until the end of our life. Um,
Let's see.
so I mean, we really hit essentially, I guess, 3 real.
Real
Well, we
endings.
had one
Yeah.
more where it was like, and this is where you live forever.
Yes. Yes. Wow. But there's 40
Good.
30 endings. So
Whew.
we've got a long ways to go.
Well, good job, everybody. Like we're going back. Was this the first episode we did? Was it Cave of Time?
No, we did Who Killed Harlow Thrombey the first time, but we've gone through
Who killed
Cave
Harlow
of Time.
Thrombey? Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone through Cave of Time before, but it's been a long time. We're talking
Todd. There you go.
be 2020 or 21, so 3 years at least. So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Well, here's the upside though, is that now we're going to go through it a little bit differently. We've already kind of squeezed out 3 endings on this one. We'll do some more next time.
Yes.
Kind of get a little bit more out of these books. That's the fun part about these books is you're never truly ever done with them, really. You know?
Yes. Well, this is where the inspiration for our cover came from. Was the riding a mammoth over a cliff.
Yes. Yes. Wasn't there a mammoth? Wasn't there a mammoth in here that we were riding at one point?
Yes. Yeah. It's let's see. I just found it. It's right here on page 29.
Yes.
So
That
the
is,
option is
hey,
to
from
jump to
Uchoose.
the ground or hang on. And if you go page 53, you hang on, but you fly over a cliff.
And yes, guys, that is a little bit of Uchoose podcast trivia. That is the inspiration for our logo image. As far as Mr. BRS, good seeing you, by the way. It's been a while we've been on. I have not been on for a while.
Yeah.
Halloween, I think we're timed well to do that, right?
Well, next week is
Ooh,
Halloween. Well, 10 days from today.
yes.
So, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but this is, we'll have to see.
Well, here's what we can promise. Here's what we can say. Stay tuned to our social medias. We're on Instagram and we're on Facebook. So pick your favorite and YouTube. But look at Facebook or both. Basically, pick whichever one. It'll be on both. But we'll have something posted for Halloween. I'll say that much.
There we go. We'll figure
There'll
something
be a
out.
Halloween little treat for
Oh,
people there.
so we had a suggestion, mystery at Chimney Rock for Halloween. It is kind of a horror themed, so I don't know.
Well, we'll schedule certainly. There'll be some little tidbit up there at minimum for our listeners and our friends.
Yes, yeah, we want to
Which
thank
our
everybody.
listeners are our friends.
Yes, thank everybody in the chat and thank for everybody listening. And we try to do this about every 2 weeks, at about 8:30 Central Time, 8:45. Yeah, Goosebumps. Yeah, we've done Goosebumps before. Yep, we have.
Yep.
Or well,
Yeah, we did.
Well, it's not Goosebumps. It's a different series, but it's like Choose Your Own Horror or something like that.
Yeah, it was very Goosebumps esque.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Scott, and everybody in the chat. We appreciate it. And until next time, you choose the adventure. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you.